Good afternoon, folks. It's Chuck McKay here, and it's March 10th, 2021. I want to apologize. This past Friday evening, I was trying to get all of this together for you, but I was having problems with Screencastify. We have since repaired it thanks to McKay, but I wanted to fill you in with information. So it's Wednesday afternoon, March 10th, 2021. Had a couple of big things happening. So let's take a look at those things and see where we are this week, because a lot has happened and a lot is going to happen. April 12th is our big date. As we've talked about, we're going to spring forward and make sure that our students are taken care of. We're going to bring blue and gold full day, 5 days a week back together. We are encouraging our virtual students to also join us if they feel comfortable doing that, and their parents do as well. There's a picture of Kim Muller up at the high school, our COVID nurse, and of course the testing that goes on before the school day begins. We are very concerned about getting our students back because we're worried about their social and emotional well-being. And we want to try to gain some normalcy in the last 10 weeks of the school year, because this is the fourth marking period. And the idea simply is to get used to being back at school, being safe and being comfortable, and in preparation for the 21-22 school year. So I know September seems a long way off, but this is our way of saying we really want to try to do this now while the great weather's here in the springtime and all that's going on, and make sure our students feel good about school and about themselves. Some important COVID news. The Department of Health has indicated that if we can identify through contact tracing that the COVID infection occurred outside the school, there is no longer any need for us to close the school. So you've heard about some of the cases that we have had in the last couple of weeks. And I think that some people are wondering why we're not closing. But in short, unless the guidance changes, and it could, we were in yellow, but we may move back into orange, who knows? We would only close one of our schools for 14 days if the infection occurred in school. Okay, but most of our cases are coming from our families, and of course our families going to work or being with other folks as well. I want to thank Aline DeJager for supporting our teachers by creating these wonderful posters that are in all 5 of our buildings. Eileen, this meant a great deal to our staff, and I thought the pun was wonderful, and also a sign, literally a sign of the times. I think when history writes this particular epic for all of us, signs like this will be part of that historical record. So I thank you for all of that and for the support for our teachers who have worked very, very hard, making sure our students get the best possible education in a very difficult time. Speaking of doing great things in a very difficult time, Sussex Tech and Vernon play basketball together, and oftentimes the games are not rough and tumble, but they're certainly competitive. And this past week, at the boys basketball game, the Sussex Tech presented a check to one of our players whose family lost their home in a fire. I cannot say enough about this and the wonderful camaraderie that happens with sports and music and all of the great things that happen at school. So this is a picture of that, if you will, ceremony in which the young man in our family is receiving the check from the Sussex Tech folks. So kudos to everyone over there and everyone in our wonderful basketball program. This was a terrific night for everyone involved. Esports rules. We have a brand new sports team, as I reported out last week. Mason Sherrill, Chris Meissner, and Dan Hayes are part of the Rocket League and the Super Smash Brothers. So you see Mason, of course, competing right there. He's got his cap on and his varsity jersey. And of course, the boys are also showing you their new sweatshirts. This is a wonderful new program, just one of the many things that happen at the high school for our students. And I want to give kudos to the coaches. There they are. There's the amazing coaching staff. Matt Shea on the left. In the center, Anthony Ventrano. And, of course, on the right, Mr. Vinny Gagliostro. Vinny, of course, is a director in our school district. And Matt, of course, is responsible for everything. He's our chief Technology Officer. And of course, Anthony works with them as well. So to all three of you gentlemen, thank you very much for starting this new program, the first in our history. And thank you for making sure that we had all this great swag and our students have uniforms. It's a great opportunity for everyone. High Point has a Pretty in Pink game that they have every year since 2011, and that's to raise money for cancer patients. Vernon participates every year. And the interesting thing is Coach DiPiano actually played in the first game as a High Point player. And of course, now she's our wonderful coach. They have raised about $175,000 in the past 10 years with this game, and they give it to local families battling cancer. So, ladies, we're very, very proud of you, and this is a great picture, and we thank you very much for doing this every year. Kudos to High Point, and also to Mr. Foley and our basketball program. The National Honor Society decided to honor Vernon's first responders, so they went to the ambulance corps and gave baskets, and also joined the police department down at the station and gave them baskets as well. There's Chief there, one of the great community people, and all of his folks, and of course, our National Honor Society students. So this is a service project for them, and I truly appreciate all that they did last week in presenting these baskets to the first responders. Nice pictures. We did COVID testing up at the high school, not this past Friday, but the Friday before, and 22 of our families took advantage of the free testing. We hope to do this again. We think it's very important that the community is aware of any kind of spread and that they get the testing for free. It has not always been that way. It is actually an expense for some of our families, and we wanted to make sure that that didn't happen. So kudos to Mr. Wallach, the administration up at the high school, Dr. Anderson, and their entire team for planning this and making this happen. Speaking of kudos to the high school, kudos to Miss Mitchell, Ms. Brennan, and the entire team that is responsible for the Student Life Committee, because they are planning a big extravaganza, the Viking Winter Carnival, which will be this Saturday. Now, there's different grade levels, and they come at different times in order to make sure that we have separation with our students. So the 8th graders will be there from 1:30 to 3, the 9th graders from 3 to 4:30, 10th graders 4:30 to 6, 11th graders 6 to 7:30, or 6, I guess it's 6:30 to 8, and then of course the 12th graders from 8 to 10. Please come out, enjoy yourself, but know a couple of things. One, there's going to be a bonfire, and it's going to be outside. So they'll have all of that outside in the back of the high school. There'll be a DJ so people can enjoy music. There'll be carnival games, and I put some of the games here on the slides. I'll show you in a few in a minute. Know that most of the games and most of these activities will be indoors based on the current regulations of indoor and outdoor capacities. But some of it will be outdoors and some of it will be indoors. But I wanted everybody to be aware that some of this will be indoors tomorrow or on Saturday. Here's some of the games. Sort of fun, right? Considering it's been a long winter, it'd be nice to have some of these things to do. Drop off by the parents will happen at the high school. We're not doing buses up and back. So we'll have RPOs there directing traffic. As the 8th graders are leaving and the 9th graders are coming up, we'll make sure that there's traffic patterns so that people can just drop their students off and then leave, and the same thing with 10th grade into 11th grade. I assume with 12th grade, some of the 12th graders will be driving, although I'm not sure about that. But again, this is a fun activity for our students, and these are some of the games. Great stuff. Speaking of great stuff, Mrs. Munchauer, Mr. Babbage, and their student teacher, Ms. Butel, we're working on a virtual instruction at Lounsbury. I called it Chefs at Lounsbury, but really it's a science experiment. But it's wonderful the way they continue to enjoy their virtual students and do everything they possibly can for their virtual students. So kudos to all of our virtual teachers and all of our virtual students who are doing the amazing work of doing well during a pandemic, a worldwide global pandemic. It's a nice shot. March is Women History Month, and I wanted to praise in this episode some of the great women that are in our field, not only their teachers, but our leaders and our students. And this is nothing could be better than this one. This is a brand new production that's happening at Glen Meadow. It's called Meadow Musings, and it's an electronic online service. That's a news service, if you will, a school newspaper online for the first time in history in Glen Meadow. And it's being run by two dynamic young women, Noelle Hernandez and Kaylee Orlando, the editor and the assistant editor. So, ladies, it's Women's History Month, and you have made history. Your principal is Gebhar, a great woman of history, and of course, you two are creating this incredible, and I really want folks to go take a look at the website and see all the news coming out of Glen Meadow with this electronic news source. Well done, ladies. Whoa, Little Shop of Horrors is coming. There is one of the plants. So just get ready. It's coming. Miss McAloney and her team are working hard on making this happen. Minor setback with a COVID case, but we will move forward. And she's doing everything she can to make sure all of this comes off. So I wanted to just give you a little sense of how great this show is going to be. A great picture. Got this email from parents, and I'm trying to state how important it is that parents are supporting us and how good that is for our folks, our teachers and our staff, and how good that feels. This is from Sue Rawl, and Sue, she's a service manager at Syntis. She has children in a district. So she said, both my son and daughter attend VTHS, and my company, Syntis, would like to select a handful of schools that are in need of hand sanitizer. And of course, they made that offer. So to Sue and everyone like her, and all the people that are volunteering on Saturday at the carnival, and all the people who are making signs for our teachers and caring for our community, thank you. Much appreciated. Mr. V in Lounsbury, always creating the great art. Look at this great student art. I just love that picture. Great. I'd love to hang that in my office. That would be great artwork in this office. And here's Juan and Christian's work. These wonderful watercolors. Watercolor is not easy, but this sort of mixed media that's going on, I believe it's mixed media, unless it's all watercolors. Just amazing. Great stuff, gentlemen. Class of 2021. We are interested in you coming back earlier than April 12th. So, the administration up at the high school, Mr. Demsek, Ms. Van Orton, and Dr. Anderson have invited you to start school on Monday, March 22nd, in class, in person. So they're asking you to come on up and get started early. It'll be seniors only. Just an idea of trying to salvage senior year and give you the experience that we hoped you had from the beginning. So that's it for this week. I wish you all the best. Stay well, and we'll keep in touch with you as things go on. Take care.